This episode is brought to you by Google. Innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. There are hundreds of thousands of skilled trades roles across the U.S. waiting to be filled. To help close this gap, Google is expanding its skilled trade support to help train more than 300,000 American workers across more than 20 states. This is a new era of American innovation. Learn more at grow.google/skilled trades.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It is The Hook Rocks, and I'm your host, Jay Scott. Thanks again for taking the time to listen to the show today. We always appreciate it. Don't forget to write us a review. Reviews are very important to The Hook Rocks, as well as any other podcast. So please take the time to let us know what you think. We do appreciate it. We are part of the Pantheon Podcasts Network, the official podcast platform for Metallica. They have their podcast on our platform too as well, so please check that out, as well as the many other music-related podcasts that are on the site. You can visit them at pantheonpodcast.com, as well as on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Pantheon Pods. You can do the same with The Hook Rocks and search up The Hook Rocks on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We had some great episodes recently. We just welcomed Wendy Dio, the wife of the legendary Ronnie James Dio, talking about the documentary Dreamers Never Die. We also welcomed Chris Voss from the record company. We discussed the legendary Jimmy Page with luthier Mike Longacre from at Mike's Guitar Parlor in Hermosa Beach, California, as well as celebrating our 500th episode with Dax Nielsen of Cheap Trick, and our 4-year anniversary with Nita Strauss, the great guitar player from Alice Cooper. And some other awesome shows along the way this year: Kip Winger, George Lynch, Rick Nielsen, a Cheap Trick, and many others. So please give them a chance, and please give them a listen on those shows. We do have a very special guest I'm going to see later today when this is being filmed, because I'm going to be attending their show at Reggies downtown Chicago. It's a great place for a rock show. It's a band that I've been wanting to see for several years, a band that I've had on the show and discussed a lot over the years. It's one of my favorite bands, one of the bands that motivated me to start this podcast and showcase new music from around the globe. And the band is 1000 Mods, and my guest is the return of the drummer, Labros G. What's happening, man? How are you?
Hello, Jay. Thanks for having us again. And feeling really, let's say, I cannot believe that you were saying all these great names of rock and roll from the last 4 decades, and now you are talking about us. Sounds kind of crazy, for us. But yeah, you find me now in our bandwagon. We are heading to Reggies, and we cannot wait for tonight's show. It's so good to be back in Chicago after 5 years.
I am so excited for this show. I've been wanting to see you guys live for so many years, and when I saw the Reggies post about you guys coming, I'm like, I got to be there. I got to be at this show because you guys have just, out of the bands that have come from Greece, which is where you guys are from, 1,000 Mods is like the top of the food chain. Great band.
Thank you very much, man. Really appreciate it.
And, with all those names I just mentioned, you guys are very deserving of spotlight and very deserving of the attention. There needs to be more attention on 1,000 Mods. And, man, I can't believe after all these years I'm finally going to get to see you.
I believe and hope that you are not going to be disappointed.
I'm sure I won't. How's the tour been going?
We have been already on the road almost for 20 days. And actually, we started around the 6th of September. And we have played something like 15 shows, 16 shows. We are really lucky, as I mentioned before, that we have a bigger vehicle this time to travel. So we get much more sleep during the tour. Because, the distances in USA, they are enormous, and it's not easy for a band to play every day and travel so many miles per day. So this is one of the reasons that it's so smooth so far. Regarding the gigs, we have had some great gigs in USA and in Canada. Actually, the Canadian gigs were out of our expectations. So many people, so really kind and energetic crowds. Our appearance at Desert Fest New York was one of the highlights so far, for sure. And now we have been traveling Midwest the last week, playing in some completely new cities for us, but we had some really warm welcoming and met some really nice people that took really, really good care of us.
That's awesome. That's great. It's hard to believe that Youth of Dissent came out in 2020. It's been almost 4 years. Obviously, the pandemic hit, and everybody kind of had to put things on pause. I know you had plans to originally tour the U.S. shortly after the album release. I know you recorded the album in Seattle. What's it like finally returning after all these years to the United States?
To be completely honest, as most of musicians, but also most of humans, we got really fucked up by the pandemic. We were supposed to, as you mentioned, we were supposed to come in the autumn of 2020. We recorded October and November of 2019 in Seattle. And the plan was to release the album in spring of 2020 and visit USA for an extended tour around September, October 2020. Of course, all these plans were cancelled. We cancelled more than 100 shows for 2020 and the touring around the release of Youth of Dissent. And we felt, at this point, like touring is never going to come back as it used to be. For the first 2 years pandemic, no one was sure how the music industry will continue, and especially in the underground level that we belong. Many bands quit. Many band members have to find completely different jobs just to survive, So the first 2 years of pandemic felt for many of us that something completely different will come. Fortunately, that was not the case. People since last year are getting back and really want to visit to attend a live show. They really missed the feeling and the energy of a live show. So we have been touring constantly since April 2022, and now we are in Europe and Greece, of course. And now we are really, really happy to be back in USA and North America in general. And that's why we planned a so big, massive tour with around 45 dates in USA, Canada, and Mexico.
How hard is it for a band like 1000 Mods to plan a tour like this, 45 dates, in coming over from Europe?
It's extremely difficult. Unfortunately, U.S. government has been making it even more difficult for musicians from abroad. The visas that you need to acquire as a musician to be able to perform here have become even more expensive and even more difficult to get them. It's our third time that we get a musician's visa in USA, and still it was more difficult than the previous times, which doesn't make any sense, as we're the same persons, the same people that had already had two visas, you know. And of course, the costs are getting out of our minds. I mean, from air tickets to renting a bandwagon to put fuel every day, you know, and travel, and all these costs are, I think, are getting it really, really more difficult for underground bands to just try and cross the Atlantic and perform here. So, in my mind, is my thoughts are that less and less smaller bands will be able in the future to come and play in USA. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that seems to be the trend over the last few years, and we all deal with the rising costs here in America, especially with fuel, and of course, hotels and food have become very expensive. So, yeah, I feel it. But speak to or what do you mean when you say it's more difficult to get a visa for playing for touring? What are some of the differences as to touring in the past? Like, what are some of those challenges that never existed before?
Actually, we were questioned about everything possible that comes in mind. We had to write letters why we want our sound engineer, why we need our tour manager, what have we accomplished in the past that makes us a band that should tour USA and stuff like that. And although we started the whole procedure really, really early to be able to, to have everything ready for our visas to be granted, they even made us pay double the money to have premium procedure and make things work faster. So it's the cost for a band that it's hardly making a living out of it. It's like actually it's a cost that a band cannot make, let's say, so much money on tour that can handle these costs.
Wow.
And all these costs are on top, of course, of the everyday touring life, having to pay for a van, having to pay for a driver, having to pay for crew, etc., etc.
I think that's interesting because you guys have toured and done this before. You think it would be easier
Exactly.
and easier to navigate through this process.
And this is the main reason why. Actually, there were two reasons why this is such an extended and massive tour. The first reason was that we were booked both for Desert Fest New York and for Levitation, Texas, which one happens in the beginning of September and the other happens by the end of October. So we had to tour all around these dates. but also financial wise, it doesn't make any cost, it doesn't make any sense to tour with less dates if you want to get break even.
How has the reception been for you guys on this tour with the crowds and the venues that you're playing?
The crowds, as I mentioned, in Canada were much bigger, and in USA, because so far we have played mostly cities that was our first time there. It was really better than we expected, but still in this underground style of music, and unfortunately in USA rock and roll is kind of dying the last years, but still it's better than we expected.
Well, I think the show tonight in Chicago is sold out.
No, it's not sold out, but it's going to be packed.
Yeah, I think it's near capacity if it's not sold out.
Hopefully, man.
I am so pumped for this show. Like, I am totally excited. So, as far as the album Youth of Dissent, what's it like to finally start playing these shows? Obviously, you've been playing them in Europe and all that stuff, but what's it finally like to start playing these shows outside of Europe and seeing the connection it has with fans?
Actually, our band was always in this kind of mentality. When we recorded an album and released it, the first thing that we did every time was get on the road and bring this new album live to our fans, because we believe that our music is meant to play it live. I mean, it's for us, it's the best way to live and have and actually listen to our music. The stage is where most of our songs make more sense. So since last year, as you mentioned, in Europe, but also now for the first time in America, we love that to see people come and say and tell us that they get it. After they listen it also live, they get it more, because this is the way that we like to write music and we like to experience music as well.
That's so true, because when I see live footage of the band, music translates so much better live, because there's so much energy, and you get that energy on the studio albums, but that energy is out of control in a live show. It's so amazing, and that's why I'm so excited to see you guys tonight, because man, it is going to be crazy.
Exactly, man. Totally agree with you.
There's been a change in the band in terms of sound from the first album to Youth of Dissent. And I think we talked about it when the album first came out, but the band seems to be evolving from album to album. And, the songs on this were a little bit more Foo Fighter-ish on this album than maybe previous album, or maybe songs on previous albums. How did the band accept that evolution? Because coming from what you guys were to now, it's almost like it's two different bands.
I will disagree about the two different bands, but in general, what we do at every album is that actually we get the feeling, the mindset, and the ideas that we have around the time that we record the album. Except Super Vacation, that had many songs from like the 4 or 5 years before we recorded. All the other albums were exactly the mentality and the ideas the last year before we recorded. So this is what we don't want to be. We want to be real, and we don't want to be in let's say making what the fans will love. We want to express ourselves and record the music that we feel like playing at this point of our lives. And this is what has happened with all our albums. And about the last one, when we started the pre-production, we realized that all our ideas and sounds resemble a lot to the Seattle grunge era, and that's the main reason we contact Matt Bales and the producer that has worked already with a lot of bands that we love, and we decided to travel to Seattle in order to record this album, and especially do it at two really legendary two really legendary studios. That a lot of the albums that we were growing up listening to were recorded there.
You know, when I say it sounds like two different bands, it's the natural progression of evolution, right? How has the band, with the evolution of your sound from slowly first to the, how have you guys embraced it? Is it just the natural being musicians and just, you know, listening to music and growing and getting older, or is it something else?
I think it's for sure this plays a big role in every musician's evolution. As you grow older and get more experience, first of all, you who have been touring a lot, who have played with amazing bands, have seen so many good musicians on and off stage, how they work, how they produce music, and of course we try to still evolve also in our playing. Everybody tries to practice more, to have a different approach to his instrument and different approach of composing or whatever. I mean, evolution is something that if it doesn't happen to an artist, it's like the biggest mistake that can happen. So yeah, and of course all the bands that you mentioned and all this kind of sound was always in our influences since we were listening to this kind of music from our really, really young age. Like from children, we could listen to all this grunge explosion and all this era and scene. So it was like something that came physical. I mean, like completely natural to us.
As you guys are touring the North America right now, in a crowd waiting to see you play, what's next for you guys? Is there more new music once you guys are done with this? Is the plan to go record in Seattle again or somewhere else? What do you guys envision? What's the plan for 1000 Mod?
The ideal plan is to record new music by the beginning of next year. But it's nothing written on stone right now, but for sure it will happen in the next months. And as I see it right now, it's not going to be again in US soil. Maybe back in Greece or whatever.
When you guys think of this album, Youth of Dissent, you're still playing out 3.5 years or whenever, is there rejuvenation with you guys? You guys have played it in Europe, you've played it, I'm sure, in Greece, obviously, but now you're playing U.S. crowds. Does this album keep being rejuvenated by all of you, by the different crowds and the different places you're playing in?
We feel exactly like this. The only problem is that most of the shows have a lot of bands, so our sets are getting smaller. So it's not easy, to play as many songs as we want and should play. And of course, because most of these fans, it's not easy for them to see us, really often, as some fans in Greece or Europe can see us twice or 3 times per year. So we try not to disappoint everyone and keep the set list full of songs from every album. So this gets much, much more difficult. Not having, 1 hour and a half or 2 hours set list, and we have also really big songs, lengthwise. We have like 8-minute songs, 9-minute songs. So it's not easy to put all the songs that you want in every night set list.
How difficult is that to choose? Like, do you do the same set every night? Is it different?
Depends, of course, but how much time we have per show. but usually like 80% of the set list is like same every night, and we choose some songs depending on the mood or on the time that we have available.
You guys have been doing this for a while, obviously, with the success that you've had and it being able to tour North America. From the band that first started years ago to now, what do you feel the biggest change within the band has been?
For sure, the biggest change is that something that it was just for out of love of music and the hobby, it turned out to be a full-time job. And when I say full-time job, it's not only about playing music, rehearsing, recording, and playing live, but also having to do all the things around, like logistics, arrangements, visas, for example, etc. I think this is the main thing that as year pass, the more energy has to be consumed to do all these things.
How long are you in Chicago for?
Just for today. Yesterday we played in Minneapolis, and we are coming through Midwest. We went up to Minneapolis. We are going back. We just came back to Chicago, and tomorrow on we travel to Kansas City.
How much does a tour like this inspire new music?
I think that it has two sides. One side is that you get in a show, Marmot's Day, every day it's the same thing that sometimes you can lose your mind. But on the other side, you see so much different places, and you talk with so many different people, playing with different local bands, and maybe you can visit music stores around or record store places, etc. That for sure there are a lot of things to stimulate our brains and bring more things in our music.
It's too bad you don't have enough time to go to Chicago Music Exchange.
For sure. On the other hand, is better for our budget.
When you walk in there, it's like it's like a toy store.
We even avoid to stop we stopped already to Sweetwater, of course, to a lot of guitar centers, etc. And we try to avoid, because we are addicted to gear, as most of the musicians. So it's really easy to start buying things without a reason.
Yeah, right. How long is your set tonight in Chicago?
I think it's going to be around 80 to 90 minutes. Hopefully. There are 5 bands on the bill, but I think we will have enough time to play a good set.
And we're live on match day as Doug reaches for a buffalo wing. He's got it! Oh, and he's gone for a can of Pepsi too! What a finish! There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi.
This summer, say I do.
I am marrying a stranger.
Like never before.
Am I crazy?
It's a whole new Married at First Sight on Peacock.
Thank God I woke up in love.
With new experts.
My name is Dr. Lisa.
My name is Paul Brunson.
More couples.
This could be the start of a very successful marriage.
And more surprises.
Or maybe not.
Everything is just not enough.
You're a little bit crazy.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I want my fairy tale ending.
Married at First Sight, now streaming. New episodes Thursdays, only on Peacock.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending. Zero tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Now, are these bands that you've been playing with throughout, or is this just specific to Chicago?
We for the whole tour, we have 3 different support packages. On the first run, just for 1 week, we were with Freedom Hawk from Virginia, great band and great guys. Now we are for 10 days with Valley of the Sun and Wizard from Montana. Actually, tonight in Chicago is going to be our last show with them. And from Kansas City on, we will meet The Well from Austin, which are really good friends and have toured already with them in Europe. So these are the main supports of the tour. But for tonight in Chicago, except aside from Valley of the Sun and the Wizard, we have also 2 local supports.
Awesome. Reggies is a great place. You guys have played there before, right?
Yeah, but unfortunately, last time was in the small place, as there was another gig happening in the big stage. Now we finally play at the proper stage.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great room. It's a really good room. The big stage is really cool. I've seen a lot of bands.
Hospitality. And the hospitality is great.
Yeah. But what has been some of the highlights in North America? Is there any shows that stand out so far?
For sure, New York Desert New York was amazing and full of people and really energetic crowd and amazing bands were really lucky to share again the stage with Color Haze and Monster Magnet, some of the bands that we were growing up listening to, even before we formed the band, and also have played in 2 amazing and completely different venues that we used to. One is West Side Bowl in Ohio, which is actually a bowling center that does also gigs, and the guys there were amazing in every way, hospitality-wise, technical-wise, promotion-wise. They do a really, really good job. And the other amazing venue that we played was Stone Church in Vermont, which is actually a church, and it was the first time in our lives playing inside the church, and also the vibe and the hospitality was amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of places that have kind of popped up over the years in the U.S. that are Point Alley, Park Stage. I think of Brooklyn Bowl, which is in Nashville, and also I think they have one in New York. I think the other one is East Side Bowl in Nashville too as well, where you can go bowling and also go catch a show, which is kind of a unique thing. It's really cool.
Yeah, totally agree. And for me, it's a really nice way to bring also people that are not in this kind of music. Maybe they will just like to go for bowling and then realize that this music is really good and, turn themselves to be new listeners and enjoy a night with a heavy band,
How has the band, or what makes the band better now than the last time you toured the U.S.?
I think we have matured a little bit, and for sure have been, all of us have become better in our, craft and instruments and whatever, and we are really on almost 1.5 years of touring, and I think we are in a good position of performing.
Yeah, touring will do that, man. It makes the band tighter. It makes the band seem a lot more seamless than when you first start out. Do you how much of a difference is there from when you first started playing to now?
I mean, it's of course. You mean in the beginning of the tour?
Of 1,000 miles.
That's like not even day and night cannot describe that. It's much more. I cannot find the words to describe it.
When you think of where you guys started out to now, and you think of how much band has improved, both musically, performance-wise, all that stuff, has 1,000 mods reached their limit with that? There's still room for you guys to keep pushing forward.
Exactly. This is our main mindset, and I think this should be the main mindset for all artists, not only musicians, because I think when you feel like that you have reached something, a level, or achieved something, or that you are, the best in your craft or whatever, then you are dead. I mean, you have, there is always room for progress, there is always room for evolution, and this is the mindset that can push you forward.
How do you guys find that?
It's not easy at all, for sure, and it's also psychologically really difficult because you are so many months away from home. You are so many months without, privacy, not personal time or whatever. But at the same time, the love for music and the love for live music and performing and wanting to be all around the world, meet people that love and do the same thing that you love. I think this is the main factor.
Yeah, it's all about experience, right? I mean, the more things you experience, that all goes into that mindset of creating. And whether you want it to happen or not, because of those experiences, you automatically evolve. You're automatically evolving just by what you do and who you are and what you experience.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree.
After all this time, right? I mean, and that's like, what I meant before also when I said, it may sound like a different band because you have this ear, you're listening to what you sound like on the last album and then the evolution previous on the album before that and so on. And then this has been the longest period since, at least because of the pandemic and because of all that. So there's going to even be more of an evolution, I think, with the band when you guys do sit down and start creating. It has to be exciting, and it also has to be, there's a curiosity there, and it has to
for sure
be some worry, like, man, what's it going to be like when we do that? But it's got to be amazing.
Look, we have already started and do some, composing and rehearsing, etc. And but for sure, all this experience, as you mentioned, get back to this thing and you can move you to a different path or different place that you would never expect that would come.
It's awesome. As a fan of 1000 Mods, I am here for it. I am waiting for it. And from the first album to the last album, everything in between, it's one of the best underground bands that people have not heard of. And for anyone checking out this episode, I encourage you to go check out their music. It is, to me, it's very Black Sabbath influenced.
For sure.
To Soundgarden, to Chain Fighters, been a great evolution of the band. And I think if you start with their first album to Youth of Dissent, you will really enjoy the ride.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it.
Labros, I will see you in a few hours, my man.
Yeah, man. And I already listened to the other guys unloading the van. I'm lucky that I'm doing the interview, but probably I have to help them a little bit as well.
Absolutely. Well, go help your mates. We'll see you in hours. Labros, thanks again.
Would love to have a beer with you, man, before or after the show.
Absolutely. I'll come by and shake your hand.
Perfect, man. See you in a little bit. Cheers.
All right, cheers. Everyone, that's Labros G from 1000 Mods. I am Jay Scott. This is The Hook Rocks. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks again for listening. Take care of each other. Stay safe. And we will talk again soon. Thank you.